And welcome back to Ran-DomU University, and thanks for tuning back into this channel. So today we're going to go ahead and get right back into what we do and get right to the nitty-gritty and get this video started. Alright, so I just got home. Well, actually I've been home for about an hour or so now, and it's really late in the night, and I just happened to click back on YouTube and I saw this weird news story talking about first ever AI fashion show in New York. So I was thinking, you know, what the F? So let's go ahead and watch this bitch.
Now, when you think of the future of fashion, what comes to mind? Well, let's take a look-see, shall we, at what's happening right now on one of fashion's biggest stages. Check out this fashion show in New York City. It's the fashion show that anyone who is anyone is talking about. Colorful, futuristic designs like that one right there. They're being judged by the industry's biggest names. The people in the front row, they look pretty impressed. Wait, just a minute.
Ridiculous.
Take a close look here. Anything off? Do these look like real people? No. In fact, nothing you see right now is real. Not the model, not the clothes, not the runway, not even the fashion photographer that has taken this picture. There is no fashion photographer. It is all AI generated. Hundreds of collections were submitted to the first ever AI Fashion Week from designers all around the world. The only rule: everything had to be designed 100% virtually, and it's not just the outfits. Participants were also asked to consider all parts of the fashion show, including front row atmosphere and backstage moments. Look at all those pictures. Pretty wild stuff.
Okay, like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? So now, like, there's no point even having people put on real clothes anymore. So, I mean, now we just literally got to create it out of digital. I mean, I know it would probably save money, but dang, are people that tight that they don't want to even spend money on people anymore to go out and walk down an aisle just to show off some clothes? Now I can see why humans wouldn't want to wear that garbage that the AI had on. I mean, it's just ugly. I mean, some of the fashion now is just more or less like, hey, let's just put something ridiculous on. Or like Kanye was out there selling homeless clothes for about $300 a piece. You know what I'm saying? Like what I just, some things are just, they're losing me. You know, like, you know, some things are really nice. I understand why you want to pay top dollar for it, but some things are just hideous, and it just seems like it's just like they put stuff out there and be like, if you just put this on, I swear you'll be special. And trust me, all the important people wear this ugly, ridiculous stuff, so you should too. I mean, it's dumb.
Here to discuss is Sinead Bovell. She's a model for brands like DKNY, Ferragamo. She's also the founder of the tech education company Away. First off, an AI Fashion Week. What do you think?
I think I myself am a little bit shocked at the pace that things are moving, but I think on the one hand, it's quite exciting. The purpose of fashion is to really push the frontier of design and creativity forward, and that's exactly what we're seeing when we see design in a computer or these AI-generated imagery. At the same time, it does, of course, raise a lot of questions. What does the future of this industry look like, and for all of the professions that rely on it?
And Sinead, talking about some of these other jobs in the fashion world, possibly at risk of being replaced by AI, I mean, how long is that list?
Right. So, of course, as you saw there, we have fashion models, but then also photographers, designers. It changes who gets to be a designer, production, set, crew. There's an entire ecosystem and supply chain. Ultimately, even actually the making of clothes and the demand for physical clothes could change as a result of this. So there's the first, second, and tertiary order impacts of AI in the fashion industry.
And Sinead, do you see like a future where real models are still working with the industry, but also with AI studios?
Right. That's a really great question. I think the jury is still out as to
Why would they hire models? They'll be like, we can just create you. We'll just make another one of you. We already got pictures of you. So, I mean, there's no point of you being here. I mean, really, it's just, I mean, we're turning another industry that really was very human dominated and human heavy as far as demand. And we're going to turning it into another digital AI robotic production. So something else that we no longer need people for, which means I guess at some point in time we're getting closer to needing that universal income.
to how society will respond to AI generated fashion models and where we'll continue to derive influence from going forward. Even just 15 years ago, the idea of an influencer wasn't really something that most of us were familiar with. And now here we are. So technology can.
First of all, influencer is just a title for BS job. A job that is a big nothing burger. It's nothing. Being an influencer is just being a person that walks around that technically has clout. I'm an influencer because I have 100,000 followers. Not literally me, because we literally only have 100 subscribers. So very far from being an influencer, but like the whole influencer, and that's what people want to grow up and be now. I want to be an influencer. Yeah, great. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, you don't do anything. You're not special at all if you're an influencer. Like, there's nothing special about an influencer. I mean, think about all the ones that are influencers on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, man. It doesn't matter. How many of them are special? Most of them don't even have jobs. They just literally walk around, they post pictures, and they make hundreds of thousands of dollars based on that. Just because they get advertisements, because they can get clicks and views.
Continues to challenge and to change the dynamics, especially when it comes to the arts and fashion. But it will be interesting to see, do AI models start to build their own persona and be something that the society naturally adopts to and gravitates towards? Or do we find it a little bit uncanny and we might prefer that human element to it? It is really hard to say.
Okay, and also, why do all these chicks look like zombies? They all look like they haven't eaten in days. I mean, just starved to death. They're going to all be emaciated, but their eyes are all ghoulish.
This point in time, and in terms of the big fashion models, will we see them maybe build a digital twin of themselves, so they just have more assets for themselves in the digital world? That is also a possibility. So the jury is still out on which direction this goes and how it's received by society.
Sinead, just talking to you, hearing you talk about uncanny and thinking about the uncanny valley, and also seeing
digital
the
twin
faces pop up right next to you in those boxes. I don't know if you saw, but that uncanny valley, I mean, when it comes to pictures, isn't really at play here. I mean, we've made such leaps and bounds when it comes to how realistic all this looks. I do want to ask you, Levi's caught some backlash a few weeks ago after it was announcing it's going to use AI to generate models of more diverse body types and skin tones. I mean, what concerns do you have about companies using this technology and also trying to represent humans, but they're not like using humans at all?
Yeah, so this is a concern that I kind of flagged about a year ago, and I call it the diversity illusion, where we can see potentially brands automating identities, but essentially putting diverse bodies into those avatars, into those AI-generated human identities, but the people behind the screen actually coding those AI-generated figures aren't diverse themselves. And this creates this diversity illusion, and I think can be quite problematic going forward. With Levi's, they quickly walked back that statement that it was to enhance diversity. They said that it wouldn't actually lead to any cuts of physical models, of human models. But that's something that we have to be really cognizant of. Who's actually getting automated and whose identity is going to continue to get profited off of.
And Sinead, this is a very weird question because it's not something that you hear in the same sentence, but like fashion, AI regulation, what do you think?
Right. So I think with fashion, what you have maybe also seen over the past couple of weeks are things like an AI-generated Pope Francis in a Balenciaga-inspired jacket. So in the same world and with the same technology, the idea of transparency, of watermarks when we see AI identities or AI-generated humans, that could be a conversation that we want to have. And should we do things like mandate watermarks when people come across AI-generated identities just to prevent any form of manipulation and any form of uncertainty. And I think people might feel a little bit more comfortable if we have some of those guardrails and safety measures in place.
Thanks for watching our YouTube.
Well, boy, I tell you what, we're really going to be in for something when Sonny comes down the aisle with a Balenciaga child exploitation jacket on. I mean, so it's going to be something else. Yeah. The future of AI is really fascinating. Something that I know not enough people are talking about. It is definitely going to become very relevant very soon. And it's going to be pretty cool when my videos that only have literally like 70 to 80 views turn out to be pretty relevant one day. Because it's just a matter of time. I'm not saying, oh, I'm a prophet. No, just this stuff is going to happen. It's already in place, and we don't have any regulations over it like other countries. Other countries are at least like, hey, man, we got some AI. We have some technology we don't fully understand. We know that's potentially dangerous. We're going to go ahead and put some regulations on it. Heck, they already got regulations on most of the citizens in most other countries anyway. While over here, we're always walking around here acting like we're oppressed 24/7 when we can actually walk out in the street without getting shot for no whatever the reason, or being killed if you're gay, or, you know, or trans, or whatever, or black. I mean, they used to have it here, but come on now. Now, there's some people trying to bring it back. I mean, we have some legislators here in Tennessee trying to bring that stuff back, but that's not really the reality of what's going on here compared to some other places. But I mean, this AI deal is going to be everywhere before we all know it, and it's eventually going to start taking over, and it's going to wreak havoc. So, interesting story. But I mean, AI Fashion Week, I mean, that's just weird. It's just more people out of work. It's just more people out of work. Peace. Hi. If you like that content, please hit any of the buttons below and subscribe to the channel. And if you liked any more of the content, please hit any other videos and continue viewing. And if not, then just have a great rest of the day. Thanks for listening.